Greetings, religionists. This week is our first unit. We're going to look at tribal religion. And these are the first religions of humankind. And no matter who we are, whether we're in Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, our ancestors practiced tribal religion. And so we want to look at what is that, and part of our analysis for this week is bringing into play substantive versus functional approaches to understanding religion. So functional religions, we look at how religions function in the economy, sociologically, how do they function, psychologically for individuals and masses of human beings. These are some of many functional approaches to studying religion. Then substantive approaches look at what the religion means to the believer. It's also called a phenomenological approach. This doesn't mean we're looking for the right or wrong religion or judging whether a religion is right or wrong. We're simply studying religion as it appears in the minds of human beings. And we want to credit Mircea Eliade and, of course, importantly, his teacher Carl Jung for understanding that the consciousness itself is reality. And if we think about it, there's no religion that could possibly exist apart from the minds of human beings. So again, I like to say, if you don't like religion, you're really saying you don't like human beings, which, many have that view. So Eliade's breakthrough work, The Sacred and the Profane, examines these two views, and I'm going to simplify his thinking quite a bit here, but note that everyone has an idea of the sacred in their minds. Now, the sacred is juxtaposed against the profane. Profana meant before the temple, so picnics and the like are profane activities. It's not just about cursing the Lord and the like. And then the sacred, however, is there in the minds of everyone. Atheist, agnostic, you name it. And I like to cite my favorite example of the Green Bay Packers as really the true religion of my state of Wisconsin. You can see people go crazy and spend crazy money just to go to those rituals, which, of course, they are reenactments of tribal warfare. Just so we know. So not only the Packers, but maybe for some it's a cabin in the woods. For others it is an image of the Buddha or an icon of Christ and his mother. One person's sacred is another person's profane, but I think most all of us will agree that brushing our teeth in the morning, and maybe in my case driving to work, sadly, that these are profane activities. They're not special. So a big part of Eliade's discovery from visiting countless tribes and seeing the same sort of social structure, and for that matter, mental consciousness about the sacred in all these many tribes he visited and many people from many religions. He discovered that there is the figure in the tribe called the shaman. The shaman is not the chief. And the shaman is not simply a witch doctor doing magic. The shaman is the one who makes the otherworldly journey, sometimes via hallucinogenic substances, other times through dance and drumming. The point is we get to an ecstatic awareness in the mind of the shaman that carries the whole tribe along. The shaman is, again, not the chief. The chief makes the political decisions, but the shaman really runs the show. And for those who may have seen The Lion King and the like, it's very easy to figure out who the shaman is in that very popular movie. It is, of course, Rafiki, who engages in a typical shamanic healing activity, a soul retrieval, where he pulls Simba out of his dejection and despair and restores his identity as his father's son. And from there the healing commences. I don't think any of us can deny that kind of healing by a shaman, even if most of us go to medical doctors and the like who've usurped the role of healing of the old shamans. We do see the evolutes of shamans today in the figures of rabbis, priests, Buddhist monks, and the like. But nothing do we have in the modern industrialized world, quite like the old tribal shaman. Now, another thing very true about all religions is that they share these features in common. Not only an awareness of the sacred and the profane, as we discussed, but also every religion has a sacred spot, a place, a temple, maybe a shrine, maybe just a totem pole, but a sacred place. And every religion has sacred objects. These may be the shaman's drum, for example, or they may be an icon in the Vatican itself. And then every religion has sacred time. We're going to find out from India on east that people see the world in terms of a cyclical time. Countless trillions of universe cycles. In fact, the current universe, according to Hindu time measurements, has existed long before modern science's Big Bang. In fact, whereas the linear view, meaning we have a beginning and an end to time in the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, that in fact the world is very short-lived so far, measuring time as they do, back around the founding of Sumer in modern-day Iraq. We'll also find that there are three main types of religious figures. The first of these is maybe the most easily understood, at least for those in the West, and that is the figure of the prophet. We can think, though, in fact, to tribal lore and see an example of a prophet when we think of Gikuyu going to the mountain top, Mount Kenya, and there hearing the voice of Ngai, their god, and bringing back a message for the people. Well, that story sounds rather familiar, I bet. Indeed, Moses is a spokesperson for God. He is not God. Muhammad as well is a prophet. But he's not a sacramental figure. There we have to look for man gods. Now the Greeks and Hindus have tons of those. But in the Abrahamic religions there's really only one, noted by, of course, the Christians. Jesus Christ as sacramental means he is both divine and human, but he is not the only sacramental figure, of course. We have Dionysus, Heracles, and Krishna, and Rama, and we could go on and on about divine god men, although we can add that Dionysus and Krishna were both died and resurrected, as was Heracles. Is that not odd for these sacramental religious figures? And then we look finally at the mystical figures. There we have to really look from India on east to China, and we will see people like the Buddha, the Tirthankara of the Jain tradition, and Taoist, even Confucian figures all look within for divine wisdom. Now we'll find for Taoism and Confucianism, there really is little to even no separation between the sacred and the profane. So there's much in store as we look through this class, and in fact breaking down these general features in our first unit is critical. And then as you're writing your essays, please do cite our readings. That's how I separate the proficient from the solid from the satisfactory. That's a rough way in which I grade these things. And so do please see all my rubrics and explanations in the text. And as you're doing your quizzes, again, your job is to go out on the internet and hopefully read beyond the question at hand and learn more, so that by your second attempt, you're likely to get 100% if you do your job. Well, good luck, and again, always feel free to email me, or again, Google video chat is excellent. Facebook, I've sent around links. Please feel free to contact me anytime, because I'm not a fanatic about one religion, but I am a fanatic about religion.